Hello again, I'm Sock's Way Up, and welcome back to Socktown. Today's goal is to make a worthy village, the second milestone of City Skylines. Alright, so the first thing we're going to have to do is figure out this energy problem. We finally ran into it. We're low on electricity, so we're going to add a wind turbine. Going to kind of keep the electricity clean in this city, at least for now. I am a fan of the green cities, keeping it clean. We don't like a lot of pollution. I think our citizens will like that too. So next we're gonna bump up the taxes. This will help us get a lot more income coming in. Typically I keep it around 11 to 13. I think for this we'll go at 12. We'll keep an eye, make sure that the citizens don't get unhappy with the adjustment that we made. And if they do, we can bump it back down. But let's hit play, get that money flowing in. We're at 921 per week right now. This should go up a good amount since we increased the taxes by 3% overall. So yeah, you can see it's already climbing up, but let's get going. We're going to expand our city a little bit. Let's take a look at our garbage. We're okay for now. Healthcare's looking good, education's looking good, so we should just focus on growing and getting that population up so we can unlock some of the fun features of City Skylines and make the city a little bit prettier. We're going to take out, I think we're going to take out our first loan. That'll give us a little bit more money. We got 24,000, almost 25,000 now to play with. That should give us some runway to get the city built out as we try to get up to 750 people today. And then that can unlock the second loan. It can unlock another tile for us and also some other fun things like agricultural areas and policies and districts. We do want to split this up into different districts that can take advantage of some of the policies and make the city or the neighborhoods look a little bit unique. But we're going to go ahead and start building along this shoreline. I do want to get the landscaping tools unlocked eventually, but for now we'll have to deal with that. Probably use Move It a little bit to customize some of the sides or the heights of the roads to keep it looking nice until we can actually get the landscaping tools unlocked and start terraforming the land a little bit. You can see there the road doesn't come out very smooth to begin with. We might have a little flooding issue. Doesn't look like it. It might have been just right when we plopped down that road. So we're going to keep this going probably to about the end of our barrier here of the tile. And you can see our plans are starting to unfold of how we're going to grow this city, give it a little bit of a style to it and not just grids. I'm really looking forward to getting through some of this beginning of the game so we can get into more interesting neighborhood designs and areas of the city that have more character and start turning into just instead of a little town, it actually becomes a larger city. And I'm excited about where this map's going to take us, but here we go. We're going to extend a little bit of these residential areas so we can maximize the amount of people that live in these towns here. Again, we're using our plain roads without lines on them. I think that looks really good in the neighborhoods. It looks more realistic to me. I'm not too sure about the angle on that road. Let's see if we can just maximize the space in here and think about traffic. So we shouldn't be dealing with too much traffic early on, but I don't like the way that turned out. Let's make a little modification here. This might help it look a little more realistic. Have it kind of go along with that road. Let's see. Go about, yeah, it's 21, so let's go about 15 out, curve it over. Could probably use Move It to make that look a little bit better, but let's get this zoned and see how it turns out here.
The time is
12
o'clock p.m.
That's embarrassing. I need to shut that off, guys. It's 12 o'clock p.m. where I'm at right now. And I thought you guys would like to know that, but we'll get that shut off. That's a little silly. All right, we got the residential stuff coming in. Money's starting to come in good. 1,200 a week, and we're already at 440, so we shouldn't need to expand too much more to get this worthy village, but let's start building across this river, and that road's not going to work, that road type. So we need to switch over to our regular road. There we go. That'll give us a road that has a bridge asset attached to it so that it can go over the water cleanly. And we'll have to use Move It here to make this bridge look a little bit better because that is not looking very natural at all. So what we'll do, click on our little move it button, click on this road node here, page up a little bit, excuse me. And that should help even it out. Lower the bridge here a little bit to help that slant not be too dramatic. There we go. Let's also clean up this road a little bit. Grab this node, raise it a little bit there. Probably lower this one down. I know there's some tricks where you can select multiple nodes and then do a natural slant. We probably want to do that a little bit later as well, but again, we're going to make changes to this once we unlock the landscaping tools and can do some terraforming and get this road exactly looking the way we want to. At that point, I'll really pay attention to the way the slopes are going on the road to make sure it's the way we want it long term. But for now, move it will do the trick. It should also help us maximize some of the zoning inside the neighborhoods when we make the roads flat, or the terrain flat around the roads. Will give you more space for zoning. So let's continue this expansion on the other side of the river. We're going to just follow it along. Probably later on we'll add a key to this as well so that it looks capped out, natural to some cities. I kind of like the way the rocks look, but also want to make it look more finished. So we'll play around with that in later episodes. But give them another road access to this other side. There's no freeway over there, so we're going to have multiple roads helping people get across the river. And we'll probably have to rethink this once we start adding things in, like the boats for the harbor stuff in this river, to make sure they can go underneath these bridges. But for now, this will work out fine. All right, let me just take a peek around here, figure out what we want to do next. I think we want to bring these main roads in farther, and that will allow us to start zoning that area, turn it into a nice little neighborhood section for a new residential area. Yeah, that'll work out. So let's go back to our plain road, start digging or cutting into this new subdivision that we're making. Once we get those districts open, we'll probably give these all names and potentially use the policies to maybe have some of them just the self-sufficient homes so that they could have the solar panels on their houses. I really like the way those assets look, so I want to utilize that a lot, especially when we get to high density. When you make a high dense area that has the self-sufficient homes that have a bunch of the solar panels, the roofs are green because they have gardens on the roofs. They use less electricity in the city. They also, I believe, they use less trash and food demand, so commercial demand goes down a little bit. I'm going to validate that. I'm not 100% sure on that, but either way, having that dynamic in your city gives you multiple styles of buildings so that the different areas can stand out as their own instead of just cookie cutter areas that are like rinse and repeat everywhere looking the same. It's just the road design determines if it's a different area or looks different. But when you can utilize the different assets and the different policies to give yourself different views and different towns, that's when these cities really start to pop to me and start looking really beautiful, in my opinion. So we've carved out a good portion of this neighborhood. So as you can see, some of these roads are lining up with each other, but they're not connecting. I think that's a really nice way visually to make the neighborhoods look, because they look symmetrical with each other. Even though those roads don't connect, it still gives it a good look and feel when you're looking at it from a top view, which is a ton of what we do in City Skylines. So before we zone this, let's not forget to add water everywhere. We don't want people to move in and be mad at us instantly and already running into money issues, so we're gonna have to wait here a little bit, let the money grow so that we can finish these pipes. Getting there a little bit, so 1300, a couple more ticks. After this one, we might move it back up to ×3 speed just to speed things up a little bit to help us out. I really think it's just a couple more milestones and growing the city a little bit more, and we won't have to worry about money. Won't have to worry about money much more moving forward after we get through this initial wave of people moving into the town, getting our finances in order. Taxes do help, but they're going to help exponentially as the city grows. So, close there, 1500. That should be enough. Let's see. Let's finish that all the way out. Now we can start zoning. We're at 555 now, so just plopping down some residential in here and some commercial. That should get us to our worthy village and finish up this episode for us. I do have some plans next episode, or maybe the one after that, to start getting into more city design. Specifically, we want to build a park eventually, a city park, get that going. That'll be a nice way to separate different subdivisions, different neighborhoods from each other, divide the city up a little bit. Maybe we can start figuring out where we want our high density to go eventually, but that's going to be a while because of the realistic population mod does cause it to take a little bit longer to get to that high density clip. And then once that's opened up, you can start growing a lot faster. Let's take care of some industry here just before that demand gets out of control. As you can see while I was rambling, I did add some more commercial, some more, drugstores, gas stations, oil change places is what will probably pop up in those smaller spots that we've made there, or tiles, and keep some diversity. But looking at this view here, I think this looks like a realistic small town personally. You got some scattered commercial buildings throughout. We'll have to get a shopping center going pretty soon. I think we're going to try to use the parking lot roads for that, make it look realistic, like a real shopping center. But now it's just a waiting game. We're at 700 people now. Got to get to, I think it was 740. So we're not too far away from our goal for this episode, and I think we're going to start picking up some steam here in the next few episodes, where we're going to be growing a lot more, focusing on some smaller goals or smaller areas where we're making them look nice, and specifically like the city park when we get to that one. Yeah, 733, 736, we're getting there. 740, oh, maybe it was more than 740. My memory is not very good. 750, okay, I was off by 10. So we got it. We got districts, we got policies, we can open up another tile if we want to. But that's going to really do it for this episode of Socktown, or Socktown, I apologize, not Socktown, I keep saying that. But thanks for joining. These episodes are a little slower moving than the later ones will be, but we got to get through these initial phases of the city. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and click on that bell so you can get notifications of the next episode of Socktown.